What time it is? It's time to go to work on LidLine Sports with my co-host, Renault, Pepe Bean, and Otis Lil O Stevenson. Did you make it to Game 5, bruh?
No, I made it to a watch party outside of the arena. They was taxing for them tickets.
Outside of the arena in the heat?
Yeah, anything for my team. They had a little miss. They had a little miss going. So,
Pep, where did you watch Game 5?
Who, me?
Your name is Pep.
Yeah. Up north.
Up north, okay. You like to be vague. This is our 299th episode of LidLine Sports. So if you spend any time watching or listening, you know Pep loves to be vague. Up north. We're up north. Up north is Northgate.
Canada. He went to Vancouver.
While you're fronting, that's nearby where I was at. So.
Oh well, that was definitely not Vancouver. Were you in Linwood? Were you in Linwood? What's up, Michael Carter? Michael Carter, what do you want to talk about? Put it in the chat. We'll talk about it. I don't have nothing to talk about. What's up, Johnny Igley? 299 shows. I'm all talked out. Next week will be our 300th show, and we have something very, very special planned that we will reveal next Monday for our 300th show. Something very, very special. Something we've never done before in the history of LidLine Sports. We'll reveal it on our 300th show next Monday. Pep and Otis, you know what it is, so don't act like I'm just by myself. You just ain't figured it out yet.
Yes, we know.
Anyway, everybody had a good weekend besides Otis?
Yeah, besides me.
Yeah.
Michael Carter, I agree. Michael Carter says the Olympics should be canceled. And you know what? According to ESPN's Bomani Jones, that he said that the Olympics, which is sponsored by Toyota won't even run commercials in Japan because they believe it should be canceled too. Like everybody in Japan does not want the Olympics, right? They have one of the lowest vaccination rates in the world. And it's just, BAD waiting to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but as I've always said, if you've listened to the episodes where I've talked about it, I've said this before on a number of shows. When it comes to people's safety, money wins out every time. And I think money might be undefeated when it comes to safety. Big money might be undefeated when it comes to safety right now. Money versus safety. I think it might be undefeated. And so the Olympics must go on. In the spirit of competitiveness. Any thoughts, fellas?
Yeah, I thought that this should have just been put on hold, and we skipped whatever number Olympics this is, and just get ready for 2024 Olympics. But here we are forcing this one, and also in an area where it should definitely not be. So I agree with Michael Carter. There should definitely not be an Olympics this summer, and I'm really surprised just by a lot of the athletes that are forcing to go, or not forcing to go to them, but are going down there as well too, especially on the U.S. side.
I'm with you guys totally. 100% needs to be canceled. Whatever. I guess 2024. That venue is set, right? I don't know where that is. I don't remember.
Paris,
okay.
France.
So what about 2028? Is that set as well?
I don't know. I just know Paris is set for 2024.
Because it's unfortunate Tokyo's going to lose out in this.
Yeah,
I mean, to see it move back to maybe they could try 2028 or 2032, whatever's next. But
I personally am not. What'd you say, Pat? I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what happens. Nobody planned for this. It's life. Things happen that we don't plan for, unfortunately. So it's unfortunate they're going to miss it. They should miss out on this Olympics, but it's the right thing to do.
2028 in LA. Back home.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I knew that LA was.
I did know it. I just forgot.
Wow.
2028, I can go. I have been hoping. What's up, Bill Walker Jr.? I have been hoping, or I am still hoping. You guys know the kid that played for Seattle Prep, now plays for UC Irvine, Colin Welp.
Mm-hmm.
Is a dual citizen, German and United States.
Nice.
And he's leaving to play with the German national team in September. So it's my hope by 2024 that he would be on the German Olympic team. And then if he's on the German Olympic team, I would try to go to Paris to go to my first ever Olympics. Like even when the Olympics was in Los Angeles in 1984, I had an opportunity to go, but I succumbed to the news, which was talking about prior to that how bad traffic would be. And I did not want to drive from Long Beach to LA to go to the Olympic activities at the LA Coliseum. And it turned out there was no traffic at all because they scared everybody off, just like me. And so this may be an opportunity to go to the Olympics and to Paris. And then my sister lives in Spain, so I can go visit her too and kill a whole lot of birds with one stone. And if not, get to the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles, hopefully. So we'll see how that all pans out. That's just, you try to plan it out. Always don't work that way, but, you have hopes and aspirations. Speaking of Japan, I have no remorse for what's happening with Japan and not having the Olympics because of Japan's stand against, in particular, Black social activism, and in this particular Olympics. And then coming out right away and banning protests or paraphernalia or what have you, and the different regulations that seem to be aimed at Black athletes, like the Afro cap. You guys up on the Afro cap?
Yes.
For swimmers, there was a cap designed, swimming cap designed for Black swimmers, so they could still wear their natural hair, and they banned it. And so it seems like they're doing things to tamper down the success of Black athletes in the Olympics. So that and just some other things that have come out from Japan that are particular to this Olympics. I'm like, okay, well, I don't care if they have it or not. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have it. And so I wouldn't want to go out the way for them to have it. And what was funny, Pep, you posted this morning on social media the story about the Olympic Committee putting cardboard beds in the athletes' dorms to prohibit them from having sex. Now, the story has since been debunked, but still funny on his own merit. And even Doreen, it may be, and I said that, Doreen, it may be an IOC rule, but it's just happening in this Olympics. So as it relates to Japan. So Who knows if the IOC is trying to appease Japan? So I don't know. So I'm just saying. So I call it guilty by association. So anyway, back to the sex on the cardboard beds. Really didn't make any sense to me to begin with, because you don't need a bed to have sex. And it would have been discriminatory to begin with, because the small athletes could be getting it in with no problem. But the big heavy ones wouldn't be able to use the bed.
Yeah, is everybody even going to be able to fit on a cardboard bed?
Maybe the dresser, huh?
Is everybody even going to be able to fit on a cardboard bed?
I don't know. I feel like and Doreen, is that the IOC too? that's fitted them the Olympic headquarters with what do you call that, Pep? There's a name for it. The Olympic Village that fitted the Olympic Village with cardboard beds. I've never heard that before, or haven't been done before. Cardboard beds, like what's up with that?
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, that part of it is true. They are cardboard beds, but they weren't given cardboard beds to try to, curb their enthusiasm about having sex. It's like I said, they could use a dresser, the shower, or kick you in again. I don't know. But, it was funny. But I thought it was really funny that you posted it, Pep, and then your woman, came out with the truth.
Hey, that's okay. That's fine. Because, I posted it and I didn't make any comment. So if I post
I know.
Comment,
it's getting silly. It's our 299th episode, man. I'm having fun right now. Also, I want to say this too in relation to the Olympics and this nonsense about people giving Naomi Osaka grief because she decided that she wanted to represent Japan. Newsflash, she was born in Japan. Newsflash, her mother is Japanese. Yep. So what is the problem? I mean, black folk, we got enough black folks doing stuff. We ain't got to claim everybody on every event. She's been out protesting and demonstrating and taking grief for Black Lives Matter and all types of social justice issues. And you want to give her grief because she wants to represent Japan where she was born? That makes zero sense at all to me. And y'all are just some idiots for giving her grief for doing that. Yeah, I said it. You're some idiots. You have not thought it through. All you're thinking about is your particular prejudices that you can't even acknowledge the fact that she is half Japanese and half black, right? But we also understand that because of racism in the world, she's considered black. But in fact, she's Japanese and black, okay? Right. So she has the right to represent whatever country she wants to, especially her origin of birth. Any thoughts?
No, I agree with that totally.
I agree with everything you said.
I got no problem with her representing Japan. I have no problem with Matisse Thybulle representing Australia. So
right. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't going to get any tick on the U.S. team, so I'm going to represent Australia too.
And this is not the first time we've seen players use this loophole of going to play for different countries if they have parents or any other generation born in other countries.
Absolutely. Like I said, Otis, they have not researched or thought it through. Right?
That's the first time.
They just want to complain. Some people just love to complain.
True.
They'll find an issue to complain about, and then they're just going to complain. That's all that is. And go get a life. How about that? Go get a life. Anyway, Pep, what's going on in the NFL?
The Pittsburgh Steelers today signed former Chargers pass rusher Melvin Ingram to a 1-year deal, according to various reports. The terms of that deal have not been disclosed as of yet, or at least as of when I was doing the research. With elite pass rushers, T.J. Watt still on the squad and a loss of Bud Dupree, another pass rusher indeed was necessary. So that's why they went out and got Ingram, and I'm sure they're not done. So look for more action and look for more stuff to happen as training camp starts to get close. I think we're within a week now, so a lot of trade rumors and signings and whatnot should start to pick up.
Okay, full disclosure: the Pittsburgh Steelers are your squad. Please give us your thoughts on what they've done in the offseason and what they're going to be looking like when the season rolls around. Thank you very much. We appreciate that off the
top. Okay, so I like the draft pick Najee Harris. I was definitely hoping they would get him or Javonte Williams out of North Carolina, or even Travis at the end. So I was happy with what they did in the draft as far as that's concerned. I'm not happy that they did not get a quarterback. I'm not happy with the fact that they're still relying on Ben to do everything once again. And, he's not getting any younger, as we all know. And, that pass protection, they lost a guy, DeCastro, and they picked up another guard from the Chargers, all pro. So it's just a wash on that. So hopefully they can keep him upright. And that's the key. They got to keep him upright and get the run game going for them to be successful.
Who's your backup now?
What's that now?
Who's your backup?
Yeah, the backup is Dwayne Haskins, I guess.
Oh yeah. What's up with him?
Well,
in the news.
That's probably why they didn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah, he was in the news last week, right after the Richard Sherman story. Actually, Haskins, I guess, got in a kind of domestic situation with his wife, and supposedly she, put a few knots on his head and whatever. But kudos to him. There's no reports of him, retaliating. He got out of there, I guess. And so she's being charged with assault. So, as far as what he did the right thing. He did right.
On that note, there are a lot of abused men that are in abusive relationships that nobody really talks about. It's kind of a taboo thing. Like, you're supposed to be so manly that you shouldn't let a woman beat you up. But here's the flip side of that. If I can't beat her up and she's trying to beat me up, I'm getting beat up. So that's how that goes. Like, my mom always told me, it doesn't take much of a man to hit a woman. I would never hit a woman. I would try to grab her, control her, whatever. But if she socks me in my eye, I'm not going to sock her in her eye, right? But it's just taboo to say that men are abused by women. Men are abused by women. Domestic violence, whether it's perpetrated by a man on a woman or a woman on a man, is totally wrong and uncalled for.
And
Walk away. I've done it before. I've gotten my car and driven away.
Yeah, we don't know their situation, though. We don't know if this
I'm
is
just
a
saying, that's everybody's situation. When you get to that point, there's a point where you can walk away, and there's a point when you can hit somebody. This just is. But you have a choice to make. Whether to walk away or to hit somebody.
Well, he made the right choice, obviously.
Yeah, so I'm saying walk away. Or after you got hit, but walk away. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Okay, so now, like I was saying, with the training camp starting to open, trade rumors are starting to get to heat up a little bit. Number one, I got to talk about Aaron Rodgers, of course, as usual. He's still not showing his hand on whether he'll make good on his decision to demand a trade, or with Denver being probably the number one destination as far as trade rumors go. Or just sit out the entire season, which I think he is prepared for. So, because I think he'll sit out and just watch and probably laugh, at what happens in Green Bay. He doesn't need to come. He doesn't need to return there if he doesn't really want to. And he's in no hurry to try and make Denver any better. He don't owe them nothing. So he can sit out. He's got plenty of, money. So it's not like he's hurting. So he can just sit out and see what happens. So
my thought on that is, I said in the beginning that he was not going to play this season. And I could be wrong, but that's just been my feeling. And now, as it's gone on, I think it's a battle of egos now.
Right.
It's a battle of egos between the president and the general manager and Aaron Rodgers. So
Well,
I feel like when that happens, then nothing gets done that could be done. Like Green Bay could easily be working out a trade with Denver, right?
yeah. Good luck.
Easily. They could have just worked it out, voided Rodgers' contract, signed him to a new deal with signing a big signing bonus, and traded him. So the fact that he's got 2 or 3 years left on his contract does not make any difference. If they can agree to avoid that contract, it can be voided, and another contract that's more suitable to trade him can be made. And so I don't feel like anybody's doing that right now. And they're just right now just saying he ain't going nowhere, and Rodgers is saying, well, I ain't showing up.
He's definitely not showing up. He's definitely not showing up in Green Bay. We know that. He's not going to show up for any kind of training camp whatsoever there. If he gets traded to Denver, yes, he would definitely show up there because he's got to get acclimated and all that. We all know that. But chances are I don't see how that's going to happen. What does Denver have that Green Bay would want for Aaron Rodgers? They sure don't have a quarterback.
They don't, but they can get draft picks and money and players,
Yep. But that community owns the team.
Yeah,
They would not be happy with that.
So of course, well, they're not happy now. They're not happy with Aaron Rodgers sitting out. They're not happy now. Like I was in Portland over the weekend, and a guy was all dressed up in Green Bay Packer stuff. He's a Green Bay Packer fan. He said, "I'm going wherever Aaron Rodgers goes." I was like, "Oh, you gonna be selling your stuff on eBay, huh?" He's like, "Yeah."
So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see. Number 2, Melvin Gordon could be traded. Now, folks are saying, well, wait a minute. He just got to Denver last year. He signed a 2-year deal and he got $16 million. So why would they trade him? Well, the Broncos are under new management, for one thing. And they drafted a highly touted running back in Javonte Williams, which I talked about earlier for Pittsburgh, out of North Carolina. And they also, the new GM, George Payton, signed ex-Viking reserve running back Mike Boone, who he recruited to Minnesota when he was there. And of course, the Broncos would save $6 million in signing 6.9, in the cap by dealing Gordon. So don't be surprised if Melvin Gordon gets let go from Denver. And then so in Chicago, you got Allen Robinson. Now, a lot of you folks that follow the NFL like I do know that Allen Robinson is not happy and hasn't been happy in Chicago. He's been wanting a new deal. He's been negotiating ad nauseum forever to try and get a deal done. It's not done. They franchised him. And so 2021 is critical this year for Chicago because what? They got Justin Fields, but are they going to give him the keys yet? Because you got you got Andy Dalton there that thinks he's going to be the starter. And so but the thing about it is if you don't sign or you don't keep Allen Robinson, you don't have a valid number 1 proven wide receiver. So they're either stuck with him and his unhappiness, or they're going to have to trade him. And they're going to have to see if they can get a good deal. But Chicago's between a rock and a hard place because nobody's going to want to give them anything that's going to be worth Allen Robinson. They're going to try and get over. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. But if they do get rid of him, the Bears would save $18 million in cap space for future deals. And I'm going to stay in Chicago because the Bears could also look to trade defensive back Robert Quinn, who had a breakout year a couple of years ago in Dallas, which earned him a 5-year, $70 million contract in Chicago. Dealing him would save another $11.6 million immediately. So currently they have less than $6 million right now that's free. So Chicago is kind of, we don't know what they're going to do, what's going to happen there. You know, this general manager, Ryan Pace, has already been, thrown to the fire this past year. So this year is critical, like I said, because they either got to get it done or they're just going to have to implode, which means that Justin Fields is going to be quarterbacking a terrible team. He's going to be running for his life probably. He's got nobody to throw to. So, it looks like a bad situation right now in Chicago.
Any news on Stephon Gilmore?
Not yet, but encouraging thing about Stephon Gilmore is he's willing to sign a multi-year deal with New England as long as the money's right, of course. But he's not saying that he wants to leave or anything like that. So, obviously he just wants more money, but he's happy where he's at, which, okay. So,
well, I feel like that can be applied somewhat to Allen Robinson too. I mean, I feel like Chicago Bears must re-sign Allen Robinson if they're serious about winning. If they're not serious about winning, then okay. But if they're serious about winning, and they said they were, that's why they drafted Justin Fields, then they'd trade up to get him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if they're serious about winning, then they will re-sign him. And
serious about winning because that GM is in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he's on the hot seat.
Yeah. But like I said, nothing really matters until game starts.
Yeah.
True.
Game start. Yeah. And so if you see somebody holding out when the season's starting, they're missing that weekly paycheck, then their holdout is for real. Otherwise, they're just trying to skip training camp. And like Eric Metcalf used to tell me, he's like, if I could skip training camp, I ain't going. So a lot of guys have that attitude.
All this going on, and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are just sitting here waiting. Everything's been situated, handled on their side, and they're ready to go.
Pep, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Why does the NFL keep letting Tom Brady cheat?
What do you do now?
Bro,
he just had surgery for a torn meniscus.
Yeah, and no, he's never in the report.
Through the whole season, he was never on the IR report.
Nope.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
They ain't saying nothing about it.
Nothing.
Ain't the rules unless it's Tom Brady. That's crazy to me. They just keep letting that dude break the rules and just not doing nothing or just giving him a little slap on the wrist. He's been cheating his way through his whole career.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
Agreed.
No answer.
How big of a stain does that put on his career? All that stuff.
You think what?
I said, how big of a stain does it put on his?
None if they don't hold him accountable.
Okay.
Yeah, none. Because how big of a stain was Deflategate?
Barely
any. Because they won't hold him accountable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is no stain.
Yeah, and they invent rules. Tuck rules.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. That was very good, Pepe. We appreciate your giving us insight every week on the National Football League. When we come back, we're going to go to the association with Lil O on the NBA right after these messages from Rainier Avenue Radio. You're listening to us on Rainier Avenue Radio and all of our podcast platforms and watching on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
Welcome to the coronavirus pandemic. I'll take coronavirus for 100. Fever, chills, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell. What is stay at home and isolate? Correct. Coronavirus for 200. Inability to stay awake, persistent pain or pressure in chest, trouble breathing. What is seek immediate help? Correct.
Coronavirus for 500.
Crippling and potentially dead infectious disease eliminated the United States with vaccination.
What is the polio vaccine?
Correct.
I'll take coronavirus for 700.
The Daily Double. Should I take the coronavirus vaccine? Wait. Hold up. This is not a game. It's time for serious discussions. We have coronavirus vaccines, but not everyone is comfortable taking them. Here's the facts. Based on what has been proven about vaccines for other diseases, COVID-19 vaccine may help keep you from getting seriously ill, even if you do get the virus. Getting vaccinated also may protect people around, particularly those at greater risk for severe illness from COVID-19. We don't yet have all of the answers. Get informed, talk to your healthcare physician, and make the right decision for you. This is a message supported by the Washington State Department of Health.
We got the feeling now. Yeah.
R&B, soul, funk, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We give you all that and more on Star Time. Join me, Paul Pearson, for a 2-hour trip through the history of R&B. A new episode every week on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Come and get the feeling on Star Time on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Welcome to the Fitness Corner. I'm your host, Mark Bryant, and you're going to get a whole total body workout on my show, starting off with a warm-up, aerobics, strength training, cool down, and stretching every Friday from 11:30 to 12 right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no co-pays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your little break. Got some refreshments. Popped a little popcorn. Go with the NBA and Lil O. And it's been a great NBA Finals. I mean, it's been ridiculed, but the games have been but I'll give you this. Oh, and I think I said this on a former broadcast. Phoenix is a fun team to watch. And there's just energy every time they play. I don't care if it's at home or on the road. There's just a lot of energy. So it's a very appealing series to watch. Last two games going down to the final possession, you really can't beat that.
No,
I mean, in the last game, epic.
Yeah.
I felt like Milwaukee, and I said that Jrue Holiday would be the dude that they needed, and Pep said that Chris Middleton would be the dude that they needed to finally step up. And both those things have happened, and that's why they're up 3-2 in a close series where either team could be up 3-2.
Mm-hmm. No, you're definitely right that you guys are both right about Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton. And the thing is they're both doing what they are really good at. I think they're really comfortable right now in this finals. Jrue Holiday is being a great defender guarding Chris Paul. But not only that, I think he's been the best playmaker in this series, both teams. He's getting everybody involved. Guys are making shots around him. He's getting Giannis good looks. He's getting him out in transition. And then Chris Middleton, man, he's turned it around, and he is looking like the best version of himself and is proving that he can be a top-tier all-star in this league. And showing that he's worth the big money that he's got, because it has not always been this case. But over these last three games, he has been unguardable, getting to his spots. And then Giannis is just doing what he does best. He's being an animal offensively and defensively on the glass. He's putting pressure on the rim. He's really a lot of people don't really talk about still how good of a rim protector that he is. I think he's one of the best in the league, and he's showed that as well. When these guys are hitting on all cylinders over the last 3 years, they have been the most consistent team in the NBA. It's just been in moments like this that they have not been able to show up. And they've been doing that. They're answering all the calls. And just like Mark Jackson said in game one, you talk about this series, a lot of people wanted to see either Brooklyn, or the Lakers, or the Clippers. I think that these were the two right teams to be in the finals this year. Like I said a couple shows ago, that these were the two most consistent teams, maybe outside of Utah, in the NBA this season. And it's been, just like you said, it's been a great finals matchup. And it's not over. The Bucks are up 3-2 right now. The Suns are going to have to do exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks just did, and that's still one on the road. With that being said, Devin Booker is doing everything possibly offensively, and I think he's doing a pretty solid job defensively. Who is the second most important player, you guys, for the Phoenix Suns for game 6s and possibly game 7?
Yep.
DeAndre Ayton. He's got to own the board, and he's got to convert when he gets inside. He has to. And then, of course, and then he's got to rim protect. So, that's a lot to ask, but look, this is the finals. So you're going to be asked a lot. You got to do a lot. Because like Monty Williams said, success is on the other side of hard. This is hard. And that's just the way it goes. So that's my point. DeAndre Ayton is the guy that's got to step up in this next game.
I feel like for the Phoenix Suns, it has to be both Cams. Cam Johnson and how come I never remember the other dude's name? What's his name?
Cam Payne.
Yeah, they've got to step up. They were a big reason why they're here, right? While they're in the championship, they've got to step up. Everybody keeps talking about Chris Paul. Chris Paul's 100 years old. Those young dudes need to step up. So what has happened, though, is that Milwaukee reminds me not in style of play or any type of players, but just their path to the championship. They remind me of the Detroit Pistons trying to get past the Celtics and the Lakers to win a championship. They had to grow and acquire players to get them over the hump, right? Some role players they acquired, like James Edwards and Vinny the Microwave, to help get them over the hump. Milwaukee's the same way. I mean, Giannis is being Giannis, right? But Middleton has grown into what he is now by failing the past 2 years. Pep expected Middleton to be that way 2 years ago, to be the way he is now. Right, Pep?
That's correct.
Right? That's what he expected. And then the other thing is, also during those past 2 playoff runs, we talked about them needing a point guard. And especially after Malcolm Brogdon went to the Pacers, right? They needed a point guard. Then they got the point guard in Drew Holiday. And so
they had Bledsoe, if you remember.
Yeah, and Bledsoe, yeah. And so now I think they have arrived. And we'll know that if they win game 6. If they don't win game 6, it goes back to Phoenix, and I'm still going with Phoenix. Although I said last Monday, whoever won game 5 was going to probably win the series.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like the pressure is on Milwaukee tomorrow to close them out. And the hardest game of any series is the closeout game.
Facts.
And
so if they blow them out, if they blow out Phoenix, then they were just worthy.
Yeah, definitely.
They were much better. But Phoenix needs to step up. The Cams need to step up. Chris Paul can't be turning the ball over the clutch. I know that. Their 2 losses in game 4 and 5 have been because of turnovers.
A lot of people
in the final minutes.
A lot of people, and I definitely agree that the help has not been consistent when we're talking about the Cams and even the Mikal Bridges.
Well, they're young.
Yeah. You did make a good point though, and if there's one thing that Chris Paul has to do these next two games, and that's lead. And that's not necessarily in the fact of scoring. I just talked about Chris Paul or Drew Holiday, facilitating for others. I think Chris Paul can take his game to another level in case of that. I'm not buying, or I don't, no excuses for the injuries or anything. I just think he's not necessarily making shots over the last couple games. I think he made shots last game. But the turnovers, he has been one of the best players in not turning the ball over all season. It cannot happen on this stage. And I think that that is going to be very pivotal for between him and Devin Booker and Cameron Payne of not turning the ball over for sure. Game 6 is going to be the most important game of their career. For the Suns, they've had the best road record in the NBA. I think they have the best road record in the playoffs. Everything has to come in fruition. And defensively is where it relies Game 6 for me personally. I think these last two games, the Milwaukee Bucks have gotten wherever they wanted on the floor. And kudos to them. They've definitely made shots. But I think that the Suns can make it much tougher defensively. You get a 16-point lead in the first quarter and squandered it in literally in half a quarter. That can't happen defensively. So I have no choice but to say that the Suns for sure are going to steal Game 6. I know, G, I think you said if I think you said who are you taking for Game 6?
Who am I taking?
Yeah.
I didn't make a pick. I just said if Phoenix wins Game 6, I'm taking them in Game 7.
Okay, that's what you said. Who you got Game 6? If you had to choose,
I have to take it.
Yeah,
I think it's a toss up, man.
Okay,
and because I really don't know. I mean, it's and somewhat foolery to say that Phoenix can drop 2 straight and then go in and win one in Milwaukee, right? But if you realize that both those games came down to basically the final possessions, then it's possible for them to go in and steal Game 6 and get back. And so we'll see what the Phoenix Suns are made of tomorrow. And I'll say, like I said, if they get blown out, then Milwaukee was just a superior team. But I feel like I don't really know. I expected Phoenix, and I said on last week's show, I expected Phoenix to win Game 4 in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have.
They should have.
Right? They should have. Their coach admitted to the fact that he brought Devin Booker back late. And I was sitting there watching the game like, when are you bringing this dude off the bench, man? Come on. Yeah. Of course, he had the play where there was a no call. The ref says his hand was on top of the ball, which I thought was a correct no call. But most people think it was a foul, and that would have fouled Booker out. But I still think you can't wait to bring him back when the dude was straight sizzling when he got his 5th foul. I mean, oh my God, that dude was sizzling. I'm like, you got to get him back in as soon as possible. I don't care if you got to go zone.
Yeah, I thought it would have been like the 8 minute mark. He would have brought him back in, and I think it was like the 6-5 minute.
No, it was like the 5.
Yeah, 5 minute mark.
Almost to the end of the 5 minute mark. Because I'm sitting there watching, like, when are you bringing him back?
I was yelling at the TV, bring him back in. And then I thought also Monty too. Cam Johnson was playing really well that game. I kind of didn't like that he took him out. I thought also with Chris Paul playing the way he was playing, I would have also liked to see the move of Devin Booker just being the primary ball handler, than you having Mike Hill and Cam Johnson in the game. I would have liked to see that idea as well. So
yeah, maybe they made that adjustment for Game 6. What's your thought on them not bringing back Devin Booker to the 5 minute mark, Pep?
Yeah, I mean, we like you. I was like, what are you guys doing? What's the holdup? But as far as this series, like you said, it's great. Game 4, Phoenix, that was theirs to win the championship. Had they won that game, I think they would have won it all. But
they took a 3-1 lead.
Huh?
They were taking a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
One team came out of that and won.
But see, now Milwaukee is feeling it. They're feeling the confidence. I mean, of course, Giannis is Giannis, and Middleton has been playing like an alpha dog. He might not be the number one guy, but he's playing like the number one
He's
guy.
the closer.
And Giannis is a line man too.
Giannis is doing his thing or not. And in the last game, all three of them, because Drew Holiday finally got it together, and all three of them went nuts. So that confidence with those three is through the roof. And that also trickles down to Connaughton, who's been playing well, and Bobby Portis Jr., who's been playing well. So they are going to be tough to beat for Phoenix. Phoenix is going to have to be flawless tomorrow if they're going to win, because Drew Holiday, his defense is disrupting Chris Paul and what he's trying to do for that team. And see, the thing about it is Chris Paul hasn't had a guy like that on him.
Too big, too strong.
Big guard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's what Milwaukee needed. They needed to get rid of. Now, Bledsoe was a strong guy, but he wasn't necessarily a good defender and a good facilitator. And, he could shoot, but he was too sporadic and inconsistent. So I'm going to go with Milwaukee tomorrow because of what I just said previously. And if they don't win, then I'm going to have to switch over and say that Phoenix is going to take Game 7, because it's very hard to win Game 7 on the road. I'm not saying it can't be done, because we all know that it can, but it makes it much more difficult to put yourself through that when you don't have to.
Yeah, Miley Summers chiming in. I think this is Miley or Mikey.
Mikey Summers.
Mikey Summers.
CP3
showing the offense so much, or slowing the offense. Okay, and he also said that Bledsoe and Brogdon leaving was the best thing to happen to Milwaukee. Well, it turns out that way for sure.
Yeah, so it looks like now. I was actually disappointed with Malcolm Brogdon loss, and
we all were.
Yeah, it's a great pickup for the Pacers. I do kind of agree with the CP3 slowing down the pace a little bit. Like I said, you just see a different bounce sometimes with the Suns as a whole, because just like you said, G, they're a young team. A lot of young guys like to get up and down. But it's a give or take. Also slowing the game down, though, especially on this level, on this floor. Sometimes that's what's going to take. It's not going to always be an up and down game in the finals. So that's
when you get to the playoffs, it's not up and down.
Exactly. You need a leader like that.
It's more of a half court game.
Exactly. 3-2 game will be tomorrow in Milwaukee, 6:00. Everybody be there, be square, be ready to watch a great game. Some NBA news. The NBA has listened. Now let's see if these guys can get some actual real chances, not just 2 years in the boot. 6 African-American coaches have been hired this offseason. Ime Udoka with the Boston Celtics, Chauncey Billups with the Blazers, the Mavs, Jason Kidd, assistant coach for the Mavs, Jamal Mosley for the Magic now, Willie Green with the Pelicans, not the Hornets. And then the Washington Wizards gets Wes Unseld Jr. Thoughts on that so far?
Yep.
Hey, kudos for all those guys. They all deserve it. They worked hard. They paid their dues. I'm waiting on Sam Cassell.
I was talking about that with a friend a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'm waiting on him. I'm sure, Darvin Ham probably should get some love. Assistant coach for Milwaukee. So, there's still more to come.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to the NBA. I mean, I don't like a lot of times I find it difficult to applaud people for doing right.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean? It's what you should have been doing. But yeah, way to go making that correction. And so shout out to all those guys that just got hired in their first job. It's very hard as a person of color and or a woman to get a head coaching job at any level. And so for those of you who've never been a coach, you probably don't even realize how unbelievably hard it is even to get a high school job. A high school job. But if you do get a high school job, it's usually like with a team that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the way it was in the NBA too. If you're a person of color and you got an NBA job, it was with a terrible team. So it's good to see African American coaches get jobs with teams that are contenders.
Yeah, you definitely made a good point with that. What was that, Pep?
No, I said, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. The Celtics are contenders. The Blazers with superstar and Damian Lillard should be ready to go right out the gate. Jason Kidd gets to coach a young Luka Doncic. Willie Green gets to coach Zion Williamson. And then, like I said, I hope that Jamal Mosley and then whatever happens with the Wizards situation and what they're going to do, but hopefully those two get really fair chances at coaching young teams. And like I said, and it's not, you're on the hot seat after 2 years, kind of like they did Lloyd Pierce for the Atlanta Hawks. I hope those two get actual real chances to build up young players. And I've heard good things about Jamal Mosley, and Luka Doncic has praised him and was really disappointed that he left. So I heard he can develop. So like I said, it's really good to see those guys getting put in good positions. Team USA news. They finally got a couple wins, but they took some losses with their roster. Brad Bill had to enter COVID protocol, and it looks like he will not be joining the Olympic team in Tokyo. And then Bothel's own Zach LaVine, who actually had a pretty solid game last game, has now entered COVID protocol as well. But it looks like he will be looking to join the team later on this week. So it looks like he's asymptomatic, and it's not going to – hopefully he's not going to hopefully he will have a chance to join these guys and possibly maybe miss a game, and that's it. Also, Kevin Love, who only was limited to 25 games this season, he has been dealing with the right calf strain all season. He was a part of that Olympic team, but it looks like he will not be able to go. It's going to be interesting to see with a lot of money.
That's surprise for real?
No, it's not surprising. And I was wondering, too, because I remember he hasn't played all season. I was surprised to even see him on the roster. And
what are they doing?
I think he was the fit guy. He's the stretch big who can stretch the floor and all. But if he's not healthy, how's he gonna? What is gonna help?
On the sidelines and not get hurt.
Exactly.
Man,
he has a lot of money left on his books for the next 2 years for the Cavaliers. Nobody wants to touch that with him with his.
Let it be the Cavaliers problem, not Olympic problem.
Definitely. So the guys that will be replacing them, Keldon Johnson was brought off the select team, and he will be replacing Brad Bill. He had a great game against Spain in his first game. And then JaVale McGee will be replacing Kevin Love. We talked about them getting a big. I don't know if that was our first, second, or third choice, but he is somebody who can protect the rim.
Definitely,
he's a rim runner, and that's something they don't have on their team.
Yep.
So definitely, he will get spot minutes. Their first game will be on the 25th against France.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Oh, sheesh.
Set your alarm clocks.
Sheesh. I'll set it. I'm gonna watch it, and that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game.
I'm to watch it. I might go to bed early, like 2 a.m.
France has NBA players, and they have good NBA players. Rudy Gobert will be on that team. Evan Fournier is another player on that team. Nick Batum will be on that team. So we've seen the USA team play. That's going to be a good game. It's not going to be a blowout. The other teams in that group will be Iran and the Czech Republic, and then France. They should handle, in my opinion, the other two teams fine. But the teams outside of this pool that they definitely should be looking forward to, Australia, everybody's calling them the favorite. Spain will be a top team. And then I'm a little excited to see Luka carry Slovenia for their first time making the Olympics. I don't know if they'll place gold, but it'll be fun to see him out there as well. You guys got any thoughts on the Olympics and this team?
Yep.
No, you said it pretty much. Yeah.
Well, as I alluded to on the previous broadcast, that the exhibition games were for the United States teams, both the men and women's team, because they lost 2 to Australia.
Yeah.
And for them to get together and gel and find some chemistry, and for the coaches to get an understanding of who can do what on their particular team. And so I feel like this year, because of COVID and the way the AAU season rolled out for me, I really understand how it goes, because I had a group of guys in my first tournament. We only had 1 practice, and then we went and played the tournament, and I didn't know what to do with them. And then by the 4th game, we played really well and beat Rotary, and we haven't lost since. And now I know who to play. I know what dudes I want to do what with. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so once you get that, and once they start playing together, then your team becomes that much better. And
That's good.
For my particular team, we went 5-0 and won the tournament down in Oregon, the Northwest Live Regional, because they bought into what I was teaching them and went out and performed. They were sharing the ball. They played unselfish. They played. The first few games or so, I had to go 2-2-1, and half-court traps just to try to create offense. But by the end of the tournament, we're playing sticky man-to-man D. And so I could imagine that the USA team, the same thing, those group of guys learning how they're going to play together, right? And then the coaches finding out a rotation system and putting in players to do particular roles within their philosophy of what they're trying to do. And once that happens and they gel, they're going to be formidable because they have the most talent, right? Definitely. And so I think that they're going to win the gold. And I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Gold's theirs to lose for sure.
What?
It's theirs to lose for sure.
Yeah. Although the world is catching up, they got some good teams out there. But I just think that by the time they get through their pool, they'll be rocking. That's my thought.
I agree with
I hope Zach gets back. Zach was killing. He was looking like a superstar.
They liked him better in their starting lineup than Brad Bill as well.
Yeah. Did you talk about this kid? I'm trying to figure out. I never even heard of him before. Keldon Johnson?
Yeah, I said how he played well last game.
Okay.
He was really solid for the San Antonio Spurs all season.
So help me understand. I never watched him play. Where'd he come from?
He went to Kentucky.
Okay.
Big 2 guard. He can score. He can guard. He's an athlete. He's good.
Yeah. Whenever I haven't heard of a player, they usually come from Kentucky or Duke.
Yeah.
Because they have so many dudes, right? Think about that. Devin Booker came out of Kentucky. He didn't even start.
Nope. 6th man of the year.
6th man. That's bananas, right? You guys are really good tonight. Our 299 show was fire. I appreciate you. Pep, you're old school, but you're the man. Everybody asks me, who's that guy? I was like, yeah, he's pretty knowledgeable. They're like, yeah, he is. Oh, you're outstanding. Thank you for bringing youth to the program. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Everybody else listening and watching, we thank you. And drive safely from your couch to the refrigerator. We're out. We'll see you next Monday for our 300th show. Be there, or like somebody said earlier, be square. Oh, that was O. Be there or be square. Holla.
I go to work like a doctor when I